what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the show, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Travis, Sleeping Warrior, Jose, Chocolate, and Arwin. Good to have you all. Beep beep.
Good afternoon.
I want to kick puppies today.
Yeah, Travis had a bit of a disaster. So he went to an open mic and got on stage, did his bit, got someone to film it, beautiful, live stream it, I think even. And then when he got off stage, the person hadn't recorded it. Heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. I would be devastated. That would probably reduce me to tears. I'm not joking.
I mean, think about it. I sat there for an hour psyching myself up to get up and bare my soul.
Well, I heard on the grapevine that it was possibly the best flat Earth performance anybody has ever done in the history of time. So
yeah, right.
That's what I heard. So you know, it truly is devastating that it didn't get committed to tape. But you can take the people on the grapevine's word for it. Travis, he's the man.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you, Nathan.
Any other word from the grapevine from anybody else before we kick into housekeeping?
Depends on what you mean by grapevine.
I heard it on the grapevine.
You mean like a current story?
Yeah, if there's anything going around before we kick into housekeeping.
I've heard a little rumor that a particular expedition that was supposed to go pole to pole, in which somebody called Great Sapien, never heard of him, managed to get $20,000+ to go and do this, and when it went bump, the expedition, apparently his name wasn't in the hat. So it seems that he may not have been on the list in the first place, and it seems that he's pocketed a shed load of cash and not done it. And basically, it seems that he might have stolen it. So,
well, might have. You know, the situation. Kudos to Fepe Perth. So Fepe Perth has basically been riding Great Sapiens' coattails in this regard, but albeit in a very, I've got to take my hat off to Fepe Perth, because he's actually done it in a very fair way. So he's saying, look, I'm trying to assist you in getting your subscriber/donators money back, and as far as he can tell, he's, as you put it, not in the hat. So he's been in Fepe Perth has been in touch with the administrators and found out whose names were in the hat. I don't know why we're using this right now, but it's okay. You know, who's on the list of people who bought tickets, and he doesn't seem to be there. So he's got back in touch with him and said, look, can you just give me the ticket number so I can just, you know, find out why the administrative error has occurred, and then, you know, that would be great, please. Meanwhile, Ranty's been on the same sort of trail, and at some point their paths have crossed, or moreover, my paths. Hi, Ranty. How you doing? Good timing.
Howdy.
I was just talking about you. So, where we're up to, Ranty, is me explaining about how your path has now crossed with Fepe Perth. So maybe you can. I know I'm putting you on the spot as you've just literally joined, but
oh, we're talking about Greater Sapien here.
Indeedy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, I've tweeted him. I was basically, you know, going after him for when he released the video saying that the flight essentially would be off. I started tweeting the back and forth with him, and I basically asked him, did he have the evidence to show that he bought the ticket, which he replied, yes, he does. Oh, he got it up. Perfect. And So here we go. So I say, where is it? Can you provide evidence that you paid for the flight, bank transfer, proof, email correspondence, receipt, etc., in the name of being honest and transparent? He replied by saying, yes, I can. I said, awesome. When will this video be out? I would really like to see that. And I said, I bet you would, but the only people I'm indebted to are those that contributed to my Kickstarter. So unless you're a part of that group, I don't take requests from you. Kind of says it all, really, doesn't it?
Well, you know, in context, if that was just a one-to-one message as opposed to a public tweet thread that anybody, including people who've donated, could just go along to and get an update on the situation, you know, I don't want to say what you would expect because I'm tarring him with a brush of what I would do in this circumstance, but I would be personally saying, this is what I'm doing, I'm outraged, whereas he's kind of, on his last video, saying, well, it looks like, you know...
Yeah, he wasn't bothered, was he?
Yeah,
he didn't show any emotion, no real upset. Like, if it was me, I'd be so apologetic to all the people that donated, I'd be devastated for them. He wasn't asked.
Yeah.
Literally wasn't asked.
He kind of phrased it in a way as to say, well, look, if I'm going to get back in touch with people and give them money back, it'll be out of my own pocket because obviously we're not going to get the money back. I was like, how do you know? What have you done so far to try? You've only just found out it's a scam, haven't you?
Yeah, and where's the proof? Where's the proof that he even bought the ticket? He's not willing to provide it.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yet another example of sort of what on the surface seems like a very, very dodgy situation at the least.
Yeah. I mean, I do hope he follows through and shows the people that actually did donate to his Kickstarter fund that he did actually buy the ticket, and somehow, some way, we get some kind of photographic proof that he has actually bought the ticket. Because otherwise,
well, you don't even need that. You don't even need that. All you need is to show them the line on the bank statement showing the transaction for the value of the ticket going out on a set date. That's all you got to show.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there has to be some kind of evidence that he can show to his supporters that he has actually spent the money and he will be out of pocket if he returns the money.
Well, the reason I mentioned the ticket number is because that's Fepe Perth's angle. So Fepe Perth is saying, look, I've got in touch with the people who are administrating this issue, and they know all of the people who are involved in terms of the victims, and you're not amongst them. So the way we can sort this out is by having a ticket number, because that ties you to the administration process. So give me your ticket number and, you know, we can sort this administrative error out. That's the angle that Fepe Perth has come from. Now, my comment was, oh, right, so he's looking like he's robbed the money then. Or I said, so he's robbing from his subs then. Because that's just how it looks to me. You know, it's just an opinion, but that's how it looks.
Well, if there's no data with the company that supplied the tickets, if there's no data of him actually being one of those people that actually purchased a ticket, you know, that's quite... that's a red alarm there. Seriously,
follow the money trail.
Yeah, when I did the P1000, what did I do, Nath? Came on here and I showed the receipts
openly. Exactly, you're still doing it. You know, you're telling people what's going on with the purchase of the camera, which they donated to you getting. So you're indebted to them. That's the bottom line, and you've given back at least the information in terms of the process of getting what they have funded, so that they can see it. You know, why wouldn't you? It's exciting. Hey, Mark, good to have you. So I don't want to lose track, though, of the fate.
Hang on, make sure that is Mark.
It is Mark.
Hello, Jim. Yeah, it is. It's me, yeah.
No, but in being about transparent and stuff, I'm showing that this is how you would expect to be transparent. Whether or not anybody paid towards the P1000, there was only a handful. Well, I say a handful, it was about 40 people, but I showed it to 200 people. So it's not like I was just going to show it to the people that donated the proof. So for me to ask and just essentially say, look, where's the proof that you bought the ticket? And him refusing to give that to somebody, it shows that it seems to me like he's being dishonest or trying to hold something back.
Sure. But I mean, as much as yes, we've now covered Great Sapien, great, wonderful, but the poll-to-poll proof of a globe is cancelled. It was a scam. Now, I say it's not that's a scam. It's the globe that's a scam. You can't do a poll-to-poll trip unless it's a globe. And it isn't. That's the scam. Somebody's figured that out, taken advantage of it, and probably know full well that exposing that scam will expose the globe lie. Because why isn't there a poll-to-poll trip? Why isn't it just as easy as pie to schedule a flight? Well, it isn't, is it? We all know that. Well, the reason's simple. We don't live on a globe, obviously and observably flat.
Otherwise, why would it be cancelled? It adds weight to the reason for why it's officially been cancelled, because we can look at that and just laugh at it. Oh, and let's by the way, let's not forget that Taboo Conspiracy he called it that it would be a scam, not that it would be cancelled, that it would actually be a scam. So kudos to that guy for making the call.
Well, I've also been doing some more research on the guy that actually was behind the actual trip itself. I believe his name was J. Roberto Aldana. He was the curator of the Polar Explorer. There was also supposed to be a press conference between himself and Exploring Again, the guy that I think appeared on Globebusters. If he didn't appear on Globebusters, he certainly appeared somewhere, because I think it was Globebusters. But then when I do a search for those domains and who owns them, you can't get that. So I've done a reverse IP address, found out that essentially there's a few different domains that are registered and come back from that same IP address. Now, all of them are now locked up on Whois, so you can't actually see who actually owns those domains. However, it would appear that there is a paper trail back to completevisa.com, which 2 days ago didn't have Whois guard protection. Now it does. But I actually took a screen grab of that. So I actually know the owner of that actual domain from 2 days ago. Name, address, telephone number, you name it, it's all down there. So it does look as if there's some kind of trail leading back to this particular person. So if anybody needs that information, let me know, because you can't find it now. It's gone.
Well done, Sherlock Ranty.
I was just about to say, dun 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 dun, dun Inspector Ranty.
Thank you very much. Well, yeah, essentially, it does seem like it's a swizz.
Oh, well, we know, obviously, the flight is a swindle, but you're presumably contextualising that with Great Sapien, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's without question. It is a scam. The Earth isn't a globe.
The other thing that needs to be considered is that if this was a flat earther that had done this, can you imagine the witch hunt that would follow? I mean, I've had flack for one thing, you've had flack for something else, but I mean, in all, like, we normally get criticised for either, I don't know, getting something interpreted wrong or citing something wrong. In my case, recently with the pendulum thing, the focal thing, but nonetheless, we normally get attacked for on-topic related stuff that gets grossly exaggerated out of context into something as heinous as murder, and we get called all the names under the sun. Now, how many ball earthers are going to be challenging Greater Sapien to get their money back, or to give trust money back to the people that it belong? Why is it only going to be the flat earthers? Where's the attacks on Greater Sapien? Because if it was us, we would get hounded out of house and home. So it seems to be another case of double standards in the same way that it was against George for trying to sabotage a man's career. George, nobody said anything against George. Yeah, okay, people may, like, there may be whispers unofficially offline and whatnot, but nobody's attacked George for doing what he did. They should be doing. But why is it only the flat earthers that are being challenged and attacked for misdemeanors that are minor, but made into massive deals? But the big crimes, like this one, for example, don't seem to get discussed at all. It's ridiculous.
Any other current events?
Ranty. Yes.
Ranty,
your video yesterday live was epic, was awesome, excellent. You proved everybody wrong, the doubters. But I think there was a answer video made for you, as for you faked it and you CGI'd it again. So do you got anything for them?
I was a bit suspect about the hammer. I mean, the roller I was convinced by, but the hammer did look pixelated.
You think so? You think so? Well, essentially, I mean, I don't know what else I could have done to prove that the two videos were live, the P900 footage and obviously the live stream. I think I covered it quite well, because he actually said in his, instead of apologizing like he said he would, which was essentially, he said to me, if I go down to the beach, to the same location, film the wind turbines, and it appears that they're cresting the waves, he will do the biggest apology that the YouTuber's ever said to that anybody's ever done on YouTube, right? So I did the live stream, re-uploaded the P900 footage within probably 40 minutes or so. I had to get back and upload it, etc. And Yeah, I mean, he said that in his video, he said, well, he didn't interact with the people in the live stream, so it could have been pre-recorded. Well, that was a complete lie. I was talking to people in the live stream. I even talked to him and responded to him because he was in there on a different account. I got them to choose in which order they wanted me to put individual items in front of the camera. So again, to say that I wasn't actually interacting with the actual live stream was a complete lie. And yeah, it showed exactly what we knew it would show, which is, you know, the issues we have when we're looking at wind turbines over 20 miles away. And that is the fact that the angular size change at distance, you've got the water mirroring layer, you've got all that kind of optics going on. And it's not my fault that they can't understand it. It really isn't my fault. You know, but instead of doing the apology, they went on the attack again. It's like, well, okay, now I'm satanic. Apparently, I'm satanic. I'm evil. This, that, and the other. I got called CIA, maybe a cop. This, that, and the other. All this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Who is it that who the people that you're referring to? Who is it?
Awake Souls in the Limitless channel. I mean, yeah. I mean, we went live. I went live a couple of nights ago. Just talking in general, just a general chit chat, and they went live, and it was literally a hit piece, and they couldn't have titled the name any worse. It was like Ranty's Live Lies or something like this. You know, if they were going to drum up people to come and watch the live stream, this would have brought them in, right? And I had like 55, 60 people watching my stream, and they had like 25, and they're supposed to have 16,000 subscribers. I have less than 1,000. I mean, it just goes to show who's actually respected more in this. You know, if I did something, if I said to somebody, you know what, if you go down and do this, and I gave them my word, I would make a massive apology. If I was wrong for doing that, I would do it. So they're just not big enough and brave enough to understand that whatever preconceived conceptions of how things should look in their mind, it doesn't match up to reality. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. They can't understand. You know, this is what this show is all about. It's about working.
Jerry Garcia.
Hi,
Jerry
Jerry.
Garcia joined the show.
How you doing?
This show,
Hey, good morning,
what we've accomplished in
Hello,
the
good
past
to have you.
200 debates. Yeah, what we've accomplished is understanding our world and understanding why these effects, why these turbines do appear to look smaller and to be cresting the waves. We've come to this conclusion. Everyone understands it. Everyone in the chat understands implicitly, except these guys, and to be fair, most of the Globers. Right? They just can't comprehend it. I think they have some, you know, like some people are colorblind. Well, I think these people are just sort of like blind to sort of like experimentation and understanding that things get smaller as they go away. You know, they just don't understand this.
They're
Frustrates
anti-ranty.
me.
They're just blind
Anti-ranty.
to reality.
Where did that guy go? Did someone kick him?
Which
Well, I didn't kick
No,
him.
he left.
Oh, he
And I
just dropped.
thought, oh, he's probably going to snipe us or something.
No, he said hello.
No, it says Arwin removed him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't snipe him. He left.
It does say Arwin removed Jerry Garcia.
You lying,
Yeah, from the
Darwin.
back panel when he left. But he
Oh,
left before that.
I see. You sniped him from the back chat after he dropped, so we
Yes,
wouldn't
it
just
said- oh.
snipe us. I see. Hi, Jazz. How you doing? Give him a second while he figures it out.
What I also found very telling with these guys.
Jazz also does have a troll account in his name.
SX. It's definitely a
Hey,
regular.
what's up,
Good to have
Nathan?
you. Hello.
Hey.
We still haven't done housekeeping. 20 minutes into
Yeah,
the show.
okay. Let's do the housekeeping.
Well, no, I did want you to. I'm not saying don't make your conclusions about Ronnie and Jason.
Yeah, all right. So I will make the conclusions about Ronnie and Jason, right? Essentially, they've gone after me. Are we still there? Or have we been sniped?
No, we're all here.
We're
Everyone's
here.
Right, sorry, it just went all silent for a minute. Right, okay. So they've gone after me about these turbines, right, from day one. Literally, they've been the one pressing me to go and do a live stream about it and calling me a CGI, this, that, and the other over these wind turbines and making video after video about it, right? Now, if you look at it another way, the Glober's only response to my videos is look at the wind turbines cresting the waves, yeah? So why would another flat earther be demanding, you know, keep putting videos out about me saying that I'm trying to show curvature in my flat earth videos? You know, if you're looking for a shill or you know, a fake flat earther, this is something that they would do. They would keep hitting on a point that the Globers would jump on and say that it's proof of curvature, yeah? So when I actually do go out and I show them this live stream, as it, this is the real world. This is how we see the wind turbines from Cleveland in the UK. This is what we see. They then turn around and call me a satanic shill, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Right? They still won't accept the fact that I've done everything they asked me to, right? And even when I bend over backwards, go down and I show them this stuff, they still want to harp on about these turbines. It's like they want to draw attention to them over and over, these turbines. It's like, I don't know why they're doing it, but if you're looking for an agent, they're the type, definitely.
Ranty, real quick, because I don't really understand these idiots. And I went into their little stupid live chat yesterday just to see what the hell they're talking about. And what I don't understand, why are they calling people, like, why do they call you a fake flat earther?
I don't
Does that
know.
mean they think that you're a actual glober?
No,
like, or like what? I don't understand their viewpoint because they're just ridiculous.
Well, in the last week or so, they've been able to add an extra thing to their arsenal. Yeah, so they've been able to say, and he gets money off people because he has a Patreon account. Well, honestly, I've not even had any money from Patreon. I only set the account up less than a week ago or so, right? And I've done that simply to help pay for my trips to do experiments, etc., or buy equipment to do experiments as I go along.
Not experiments.
This journey.
Gonna drum it
Sorry?
into you. Not experiments.
All right, tests then. Well, and people are happy to actually, people actually messaged me asking to set a Patreon up because they wanted to be a part of that. They wanted me to go and do these experiments or tests, whichever way you want to choose to call it, right? So that's another thing that they've now cottoned onto this and thought, well, isn't it for the money? Isn't it for this? Isn't it for that? They don't realize that I've been on Flat Earth for over a year. And I've bought my own P900. I've done all the driving myself. I've been everywhere. I've been sitting on chat shop, not just here. Before I was on Nathan's, I was a panelist at ISA, Mahalski's, and I used to go on Jamie Brown's and stuff like that. So I mean, I've been around the block. It's not like I've been doing this for the money. I'm doing it for the research. And for them to say that I don't produce any evidence, they even said that I don't give elevation heights, I don't do repeated tests, I don't do anything that shows any flat earth proofs. This is what they said last night. I'm like, are these guys for real? That I don't do any elevation tests, I don't show my location, I don't give any,
Listen, I don't mean to
that's
sound...
what I'm saying. Like, it almost seems like there's like a hatred towards you. Like, it seems a little cultish.
It is.
Like, instead of...
Let's change topic.
Like, saying worship is like...
These two morons don't deserve any of our time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm done with them now. I mean, I'm literally done with it. I wanted to just bring it up to let everybody know that I did what they asked. I went out of my way. I set up a live. I went down 4 times, right? 3 times the weather wasn't good enough to actually view it. The 4th time, I did a complete live stream. I proved absolutely 100% I was filming everything live. Done the video last night. I was expecting an apology video. Instead, I get another hit piece. So that's it. I'm done with them now. So any more live streams that I do, if they come in on a different alt, you guys know what to do. Just kick them. They're not welcome.
And if you are subscribed to them, don't subscribe to them. Block them.
No such thing as bad publicity. All this is going to do is drive people to their channel.
No one's interested in that garbage.
Let's change topic. Let's literally drop it and we'll go on to something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Housekeeping, as it's now 25 minutes in. So, any signs of curvature?
No.
No.
Anybody? Anybody at all?
No, and no hoodwink. I'm not gay, by the way.
Not at all.
Any signs of axial rotation? Ranty's on the panel. So...
I'm sorry, curvature. I'm sorry.
That's
I got a point on curvature.
Oh, go on.
So, like myself, I go make some observations through my camera, and I'm looking at the camera. I say, like, am I witnessing curvature on the house that is 5 miles away? And I don't see a small pier underneath the house, maybe a boat that should be parked in front of the house. I don't see the street. And then when I realize, and I keep looking at the video, the more I look at it, is atmospheric conditions that happens in a very narrow bottom part of the image. Some kind of compression, Fata Morgana, inferior, superior mirages. Is some shit going on in the circle of confusion. You're looking through, you think you're looking at curvature, but no, you're looking at a mirroring effect from the water mirroring up and vice versa. Then the house is mirroring down. So I don't know how to explain it, how to put it in words, but what appears to be curvature is optical effects on the atmosphere.
It's got a name.
That's what I mean.
It's got a name.
Well said.
Last 5-6 videos, live streams, so maybe 10 uploads, have had the chat I had with Good Times for All. So this is in the link below this, and I'm just going to leave it there permanently.
Aries diffraction, is that what the name is?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Aries diffraction. So Aries diffraction is explained in some detail by Zachary Sabala, otherwise known as Good Times for All. His channel name is GUDTIMS4ALL. That's Zachary Sabala, otherwise known as Good Times for All. And Good Times for All and I did a show about Aries diffraction, how it works, what the effects are, and this is that. All of the things you listed, Jose. So the inferior mirage, Fata Morgana, narrowing of the angle in order to achieve that. You said it's in a very narrow band. The reasons, the whys, the wherefores of how and why we get that exact effect that you show on your videos is detailed by Zach in the video, in the link below this video.
Excellent. I will have to revisit that because the first video that I took with my camera, it was a clearer, I mean, it was really shaky, but it was a clear image. It was less of a mirage, of a refraction visually. And I presented it in a forum, and they said, like, you just got curvature. You're missing the bottom part of the houses. But then I went I don't know, maybe a week ago, and I presented another image of the same thing with a different looking effect. They say, oh, but that's just, you cannot perceive any curvature of this distance. So first they say you got curvature, and then they say, no, it's too short of a distance to get curvature. So you know what, when it fits them, it's curvature, but when it's not, they say, no, you gotta go longer than that, you know, further than that. So yeah.
That's what they do.
Go on, Alwyn.
That's just what they do. They find whatever mental gymnastic explanation that can fit, and they settle for that. It's just like finding a piece of scripture as a reference in the book. Oh, this one fits. Okay, I'm going to use that. They don't care for consistency.
Can I do a shout out to the
answer
hyena?
is no.
Yeah, you can do whatever you like.
Can I shout out to Hyena, because he's absolutely putting some cracking memes out. I've actually just sent you one, Nathan, in the Skype. Maybe you should show it and show people what he's been creating. But essentially, on my Facebook group, he's putting memes up every day. Absolutely hilarious.
Hyena is killing it.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing it.
I will actually put that up because that's funny.
Hyena is killing it. Much props to Hyena out there. Killing it with the memes.
Keep at it as well. Keep at it. Funny hours.
Oh, it hasn't come through on the PC.
Oh, come on, you can get it up.
Shout out, Rumpus, please change your profile picture. We need a new picture of your face. Come on, man.
Maybe I have to get it up.
Can you send it again?
Do you want me to get it up?
Yeah, you get it up. It's not audio, so.
Hang on.
In the meantime, although it's in the link in the info box anyway, just for the people who are a bit lazy, I'm going to put the video with Zachary Zabala in the public chat feed now. So if you want to check out that video, you can do it on the re-up now. So after the show goes out, it does re-render with chat. So hopefully those links will work after the fact. But if not, click on it now. Make sure you come back.
There we go. I've got it. I'm displaying, Nate.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
It's awesome. Thanks, Hyena. You giving us a giggle, tell you. Awake souls in Stephen King's tit.
Very good. Good stuff. So there might be a new addition to housekeeping at the end of this, but I'll rattle through the ones that we're all familiar with. So any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety, Ranty?
No, can't say there is.
Anybody at all? Anybody? Axial rotation?
Nope.
No. Any signs of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Absolutely not. Molten iron does not create its own charge.
What about the presupposition itself? Any evidence of Earth radius? Any signs of R?
Yeah, some bloke sat on the ground and put sticks on the ground and measured the shadows, and somehow it seems to have stuck.
I'd prefer scientific evidence of the radius, if that's possible.
That's as good
What's
as
wrong with sticks?
I'd prefer scientific evidence, if that's possible.
Are you being stickist?
Stickist? No, I've got nothing against sticks.
Oh, okay. No,
I'd prefer.
about as good
Okay,
as
I'll
it gets.
rephrase that then. I'd prefer you didn't presuppose it's a sphere when you use your sticks.
Well, that's about as far as it goes. I mean, everybody seems to believe it for some reason.
Right. You know, taking inference from a shadow on a light in the sky to justify a presupposition that it's a sphere when you make your measurement. That's an outrage. That's not evidence. That's certainly not scientific. It's an outrage. So I'm not going to take that as any sort of scientific evidence of a molten iron core or radius or anything else. It's just nonsense.
You can do it with a light source and a basketball and a couple of toothpicks. It does the same thing without presupposing the Earth's a globe.
Say that again.
You can take a light source in a dark room with a basketball and two toothpicks and measure the same thing without presupposing that the Earth's a globe.
And what would we be measuring?
I don't know. What do you think you'd be measuring?
Well, you know it's a sphere shape though. You can do the exact same thing on a flat surface and get the same effect. So it doesn't prove anything, literally.
No, not on a flat plane. You can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can do it with the basketball and a bit of A3 paper, and you get.
No. I'm not saying you can do it on a basketball on a flat plane. Right? You can do it on a basketball. I can do it on a basketball court.
Yeah.
Right, so it proves nothing. It does not prove you're on a sphere.
You're going to get a different. You're going to get less of an angle if it's flat.
Sorry, you've got a basketball.
No, you won't.
Yes, you will.
How would you talking about compared to a basketball?
No, sorry, it's Jezza.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, but are you comparing it to the angle on a basketball?
Well, if you have a basketball...
Yeah, then you know it's round, don't you? You don't need to measure anything, You can look at it and see that it's spherical. There's no need to measure a damn thing when you're looking at a basketball. I know it's round and spherical. I just got to look at it. Easy.
Nathan, the whole point of that experiment is that the sticks are pointed at 90 degrees to the centre of the Earth.
If you presuppose it's a sphere. If you presuppose it's a sphere, you already have decided that you're pointing towards the centre.
On a flat plane than you will on a sphere.
You're not listening.
That's all I'm saying.
You're not listening. Keep calling you Jazz. You're not listening. You're presupposing that it's 90 degrees. So 90 degrees to what? Oh, 90 degrees on a sphere, right? So you already know it's a sphere when you're making that measurement.
No, I disagree, because...
You said specifically, you're making the measurement 90 degrees to the centre of the Earth. So if you're making the measurement towards the centre of the Earth, you already know you're measuring a sphere, Jazz.
No, because...
Yes, if you decide that your measurement is 90 degrees to the centre of a spherical Earth, then you're making your measurement 90 degrees to a spherical Earth, presupposing that it is bloody spherical.
I didn't say that. Well,
yeah, you just don't understand. I don't want to hear any more dim-wittedness from you, Jazz. This does not prove you're on a sphere. Not only can you do the same effect on a flat plane, it doesn't prove anything.
So where's the vertical on a flat plane? Is it 90 degrees?
90 degrees from the ground. Yeah, it's obvious. The stick is 90 degrees. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not that's not a presupposition. That's a physical reality.
And that's what I'm saying.
No, you're saying that when you travel across the plane and stick a different stick 90 degrees to the ground, it's not actually 90 degrees to the ground relative to the other stick, because it's pointing towards the centre of a sphere, Jazz. You've already decided it's pointing towards the centre of a sphere. When you stick your sticks into the ground, that's the point. It requires a presupposition of a sphere. Do we have to spend the rest of the show explaining why Eratosthenes didn't get it right with his bloody sticks? Or are you just going to concede now something that literally every flat earther understands now? It requires R. Yeah? I just don't want to hear you babbling about your misunderstandings about this.
Right, Nathan,
anyway, it's not
can you put me on, mate?
Yeah,
sure.
But anyway,
can
I talk to you in a couple of nights, because my missus come to me last night, very randomly, just said, I think the Earth's flat, and walked away, and I haven't seen her for 24 hours.
Okay.
We don't have kids, so that's not unusual.
Messes some people up. Some people aren't smart enough to get it. Some people get very angry.
Can you share my screen, Nathan?
You are.
I've got something to show you.
Yeah, you're on.
D Marble put this onto his Facebook. It basically shows you the transit of Mars along with the Moon. And what's interesting, and you'll see this in a minute, I'm just going to put it on full screen so that you actually see that. This was taken at Lakewood, July 27th to the 28th. This is a time lapse. You're obviously going to see the Moon coming into shot now, but you also see down where my cursor is now, you can see Mars. So at about 4 or 5 o'clock. But look how it stays exactly in position with the Moon. Now, if it was the other way around, and you wouldn't expect to see the Moon and Mars stay exactly like that, because it wouldn't happen. You would have the Moon crossing the screen and Mars would stay where it should. You know what I mean? You wouldn't get this. Can you see what I'm showing you?
Yeah, we see. What you're saying is because of the vastly disproportionate distance of the two of these items alleged in the heliocentric system, you should see some sort of parallax. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, there should be parallax. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I forgot the word for a minute. But yeah, where's the parallax in this?
But hold on, Mars is traveling slightly slower. See, the angle is changing very gradually. So, but it's almost perfectly parallel.
I don't see it. I also know for a fact that if the Moon is traveling around the Earth,
it's now 66 degrees up plus. It started out less than 45 degrees. See?
Not seeing it.
Change it back to the beginning. See, it
looks to me like they're
much
moving
higher than it is wide.
It looks to me like that's moving away, and we're not getting any parallax. That's what it looks like to me.
Sure. Let's see here. It's pretty much 45 degrees.
Yep.
The angle, and now.
Well, that's exactly how you'd expect to see it if they were moving away. You would get this very ever so slight change in angle. That's exactly what you would expect to see.
All right.
But it wouldn't be the same if you was on a globe. If you was on a globe, they would parallax, and Mars and the Moon would flip over. Especially at the angles that they've just filmed it at.
Are you sure about this, Ranty? Because in my experience, whenever I've looked at something like this and gone, in my mind, logically, this shouldn't work out in the heliocentric system, then you look into it, and it does.
Well, I find it interesting. I might be wrong. However, I mean, I can't contemplate it in my brain, thinking that, okay, if the Moon is traveling around the Earth and the Earth's spinning as well, and then you have Mars, which is so far away, that should be like a focal point. Mars should be a much more focal point than the Moon that is traveling around the Earth once every 24 hours.
Okay, I'm sure we'll get
they're gonna say it's too far away for you to notice the movement. That's what they're gonna say. I mean, they always come up with excuses.
Sure, but the Moon's closer, is Ranty's point. So, it's like anything with parallax. The further thing goes slower, the nearer thing goes faster. So the Moon should travel faster than the Mars, based on what Ranty's saying. I don't necessarily think that's going to pan out, Ranty, from past experience.
You have to know all the orbits of the heliocentric system perfectly. It's very complicated.
It's very good.
Well, we got to keep.
You know, the heliocentric system base is exceptional. You know, I've said this before. Once I found out it was all nonsense, you can find a few flaws. Don't get me wrong; it's not perfect, far from it, but most of it is very elegant. You know, they've tracked it and then worked backwards to match what they see with how the system works. So it's you would expect it to match observations because they've been observing it. It's cyclical. You know, you can figure out what it's going to do and then predict it's going to do it again, and it does. So therefore, they're going to back calculate the system to match the observations. But I could be wrong. Hopefully, maybe you stumbled on something.
Speaking of observations compared to the southern hemisphere where I am in the northern hemisphere, just a couple of weeks ago we had Venus, Jupiter, Saturn and Mars all in a perfect line in the sky at about 7 p.m. at night. Could you see that from the northern hemisphere?
I didn't catch that. Say that again.
We had Venus, Jupiter, Saturn and Mars all in a line.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Oh, you saw it? But which order was it in the northern hemisphere? Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus?
I don't know what order it was. But
I don't know what order it was either.
Oh,
this is relatively recent, right?
Indication of the shape of the Earth, isn't it?
No.
No, it just tells you what's going on in the sky, you moron.
Moron. Anthony, you said I had a sock account. What one's that?
No, somebody impersonates you and comes on to snipe. Not you, but somebody's impersonating you.
Did they do a good job?
Not really, no.
Maybe.
None of them do a good job.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan. I'd like to respond to Jazz Conda's claim that sticks in the ground prove R, as it were. It is all based on physical literalism when concerning the heavenly bodies, because we see them and they move around us in an apparent sphere. In relation to anyone that observes and any camera. But only if you then start with the assumption that they are physical and they are literally in those locations, whatever the distance may be, in relation to the Earth, then only can you begin to thereby assume that the Earth is a sphere underneath it. Because if the stars are physical and in literal locations, then if you're going to accept that, then you must automatically, with physical logic, accept that the Earth is a sphere beneath it. But you have absolutely no proof that they are physical in any way, except for CGI NASA provides you.
And what does that mean, Arwen, if somebody hasn't got proof of something?
No, Arwen, can I just answer Arwen?
Yes.
Sure.
Pipe down, Anthony.
I never said that sticks in the ground prove R. What I was saying is that if you have a light source that it's a fixed distance away and you can do it with a basketball, toothpicks and an A3 bit of paper, a basketball court, if the Earth was flat, the sticks would have a different angle to their shadow.
No.
Right, so you're assuming that the sun is a lamp, which is an object that has a location in relation to the Earth that you are simulating with the basketball.
Well, does it work even if it's with a lamp?
Hold on, Ranty, hold on.
No, but the thing is, if you're going to miniaturize it, then you can use a lamp, but you're assuming that the sun works just like a lamp.
No, the sun doesn't work like a lamp.
And why would you use a lamp in the setup?
Because the sun is a 360-degree light. It just doesn't shine perpendicular light rays to the Earth. It shines all over the solar system. We can see that.
Wow, that's a lot of presupposition.
That has nothing
Venus.
That's a lot of presupposition.
Nothing to do with the Earth. We can only observe from Earth.
So it's not a lamp.
Yeah, but you're using a lamp or a light bulb or whatever. You're using a lamp, right, with the basketball experiment? Well, then you're using a lamp. You're not...
No. I'm not using a lamp. When you're using a lamp for the flat Earth because half of it's shaded.
No, I'm not using anything.
Well, then how does that work?
That the sun is a physical object. I assume a daylight direction. That is all I assume.
Light isn't directionally proportional. Light is light. It's radiant.
Jazz.
I disagree.
Why are you asking like Flat Earth 101 questions when you've been in it long enough to know that this one is it's undecided either way?
Because it's not decided either way. It's proven one way, and you guys say that it's fake.
Right. So what's the proof one way?
The proof one way is that we've been to space, and you say it's fake, and you haven't proven that it's fake.
Hold on. Jazz, we're talking about sticks and shadows. Sticks and shadows. Let's stick to the topic.
Okay, sticks and shadows. Do the experiment.
It's not an experiment.
Do the experiment.
To do with the math.
It's not an experiment.
And an A3 bit of paper.
Did you hear what I said, Jazz? Jazz,
Jazz,
not an
said
experiment.
that your lamp was fixed. You used the word fixed. And
fixed because at the time it was taken on the summer solstice, so that's a fixed time in 2 different locations.
Yeah, but you're assuming that the sun is fixed. We don't know how far away the sun is.
Well,
You'll get the
Because
same...
if you assume that at 12 o'clock midday in 2 locations, then you can assume that the light source is fixed for that very second that those calculations were taken.
Sorry, can I just ask you something then, Jazz? Have you ever managed to get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow?
It doesn't exist, or have you found it, Nathan?
Sorry, just a simple...
You can assume it exists.
Hold on, let me just ask you, Marwin.
No, you can't.
It's a simple question. It's a little path I'm taking you on, Jazz. Just a yes or no will do. Have you ever managed to get to the base of a rainbow?
And this is exactly what you do, Nathan. You're fishing for an answer that will support your claim.
No, I said... I made a qualification. I'm taking
exactly
you on
the same
I'm
thing
taking
with,
you on a
with
little
the,
journey.
We are classifying the
Jazz.
sun as a holographic phenomenon.
Sorry, I'm taking you on a little... just
Can
let me do
prove
it,
that?
please.
There is more evidence to
can't
say
prove
what it
it's
Oh,
physically
so
is
thanks,
than what you
Arwin.
just
Thanks.
said.
I nearly had control of the situation. Arwin, let me at him. I'm taking him on a little journey. Second time I've qualified it. I'm not trying to gotcha. It's just a yes or no, but I need that answer first. Have you ever got to the base of a rainbow?
I'll play your game, Nathan. No.
Right. Why is that? Do you think that you can't get to the base of a rainbow?
Because it's never been proven that there's a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
Forget the pot of gold. Hold on, guys, come on. Forget the pot of gold. Why is it that when you go towards the rainbow, you can't get to its base?
Because it's an illusion.
Right. So as you move towards the rainbow, it moves as you move.
Here we go, reeling me into what you want to hear. Keep going.
That's what a journey is, taking you on a little path. That's correct, Jazz. Don't reassert what I have qualified twice for you, that's exactly what I'm doing. I just need a bit of cooperation from you. So, we can't get to the base of the rainbow. We try, we chase it, but we never get to it. It moves, doesn't it, Jazz?
It does.
Right. And what happens when you try and get closer to the sun, Jazz? Is it the same or different to the rainbow?
No.
Not no.
If you try and get
the answer
closer
is
to
either
the sun, you get closer.
The answer, Jazz.
What happens when you try and get closer?
Jazz, the answer isn't a yes or no. It's same or different. Those are the 2 responses.
Say again, sorry?
Same or different. Is trying to get to the base of a rainbow the same as trying to get underneath the sun, for example?
Are we talking, we're on a flat Earth or a globe?
Forget flat Earth and listen to my question.
Why do we put up
just
with it?
listen to the question. Can you chase the sun and walk around it like a physical object? So you've got a car, you walk towards it, then you walk around it. Can you do that with the sun, or is it more like the rainbow?
You're going to get to the sun much more quicker than you're ever going to get to the bottom of a rainbow, because the bottom of the rainbow will continue to move away from you.
So
when
you think that as you walk towards the sun, it changes its position and you get closer to it as you walk towards it. Is that what you think, Jazz?
Hello?
Leave it silent.
He needs a minute to gather his thoughts, I guess.
Silence,
Indeed.
guys.
Let him.
Let's wait for him.
Might have passed out.
Silence. Ask it again, Nathan.
So, have you ever managed to walk around the sun like you can walk around a car? Or from your location, get closer to it as you walk towards it? Is it like the car or like the rainbow? Jazz.
Well, he's not answering, Nath. Listen, I've sent you a message inside chat on
Jazz,
Skype.
hold on. Jazz thinks the sun is a physical object, like a lamp pointing at a basketball. So if it's physical, like a car, I can walk up to it, I can walk around it, but I can't do that with the sun, Jazz. If I walk towards it, it moves with me, like a rainbow.
I don't see Jazz in the back chat anymore.
He dropped.
Alwyn, I was trying to get your attention in the side chat before. Did you not see side chat, or were you just ignoring?
Sorry, I was just listening.
Because Jazz
dropped.
wasn't in the back chat at all. He's not been in it for the whole conversation. He's not been in the back chat.
Huh? Weird.
That's fine. That happens for various reasons sometimes.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, that's nothing. That's not nefarious. I can assure you. So Jazz has gone at the crucial moment, but we'd already taken him down the journey, fortunately. So for anybody who thinks like Jazz that the sun is something physical, then try and go up to it and watch what happens.
Can I go back and ask Ranty a question?
You can. We've got about 10 minutes left and then we'll have a quick break.
Did you say yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh. Ranty, you said something about Mars being a fixed focal point. Can you elaborate on that? I just wanted to understand what you meant. If you can remember what you said.
You're muted, Ranty. You.
Might have gone for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he's probably.
Maybe he passed out.
Nathan,
maybe.
You know, if you ask the last couple of questions on housekeeping, does that mean we have to go through them again at the beginning of the next show?
Yeah, we didn't get through. We didn't even get through two of them. No, we got through. No, we did get through a few. I'll still do it again. I like doing housekeeping.
But it's the same answer all the time.
Well, you know, the link's public. If somebody's in the what is it? How many have we got now? 240. Wow, 240 people watching. If somebody in the audience thinks, of course there's curvature. We've been to space. I've seen the Earth as a sphere. They might want to join and tell us that. You never know.
I put a message a few minutes ago on the chat and I say if anybody want to join, I can drop or anybody else can drop if they can provide any kind of proof of evidence of anything.
We still have a place.
Well, while we're waiting,
at the moment.
Yeah, we've got a gap on the panel. While we're waiting, so a couple of shows ago, Jimmy was on the show, and our objection to Jimmy, or the topic at hand, was his lies in regards to adding information to a citation. And during the break, he then provided us with a transcript of the conversation, which he annotated. And that sent me into a blind rage, I'm not going to lie. I was fuming. Because, and I'll explain and then get your opinions, because if you're guilty of adding to a citation and then you provide a transcript and you add to that, you're basically guilty of exactly the same crime twice. And you're trying to do the same crime to back up the first crime. So he's added to a citation, then he's annotated the actual conversation and put in little brackets his feelings. And you're like, what the hell is this? So based on that, I'll get to my point and then we will round out. based on that, I said, I don't want you here anymore. You're a disingenuous liar. You've made the list. That's it. That's the last straw. You're such a big liar that I can't bear the sight of you. And that was how it was left. A day later, Anthony's like, do you think you overreacted a little bit with Jimmy? And I explained to him exactly what I've just explained to you. And on every point, Anthony agrees. I think he'll hopefully concur now. But ultimately, I want to get a few more opinions in that regard. I always say all are welcome. There are a couple of people, I've never mentioned them by name, that I just won't let in. But they're very few and far between. So, Jimmy, your opinions, please. Not to Jimmy. I don't care what you think.
I always am frustrated with Jimmy because I feel like it's almost like the dead air that we had with Jazz a minute ago. Even though we didn't know he was gone, the dead air was his silence, and that is either he's being dishonest and he doesn't want to admit, or he's being, dishonest and he doesn't want to
admit.
So, yeah, well, yeah. So whenever we talk to Jimmy, I just think he is not being honest. He's not going to admit it, and we just waste so much time trying to get. So I don't mind that he's been banned. I really don't.
Yeah, he was acting stupid on purpose.
Yeah. It's just.
Other times he would get in pretty well-versed explanations, even though they were based on presuppositions and such.
Let me
then act like you're that dumb, that seems inconsistent.
Let me play devil's advocate. Not that I'll side with Jimmy on this. More that I just want to add a little perspective to it. That the annotated notes that he'd written on the transcript were his thoughts and feelings and justifications for what was said. So he wasn't actually doing what Sean Huffer does, which was total misrepresentation. What he was actually doing was he was justifying or explaining what was in his head, or what he claims was in his head, when these bits were said. Now, the annotations that he'd added were contentious because he'd actually scripted the transcript relatively accurately. It was apart from missing the odd and ah, the bits that were missing were okay. But the explanations for it, the transcript, the annotations to the transcript that he put, were the justifications for basically why he lied. So the context is that in itself, he wasn't misrepresenting with the transcript. But what he was doing was doubling down with the lie for basically the reason for why he lied in his annotations.
It was like a contextual explanation.
Yeah, contextual explanation for why he lied. But it doesn't change the fact that it was a lie.
Well, Jimmy say he was being honest, and it was probably a misunderstanding. He was just taken out of context.
No, he wasn't being honest, because when challenged initially, he said it was in the original citation that he'd cited. That was not true. Now, that was a false statement of truth. But he knew it wasn't. He knew it was false, and he tried to deceive, but he wasn't expecting me to be literally looking at it at the exact moment he read. He was not expecting that, and that's why he got caught out. But that's why he said initially that it was in the citation, and then I said, no, it wasn't. And then he was like, what? I mean, we can play it again, Jimmy, if you're not sure. I mean, it's one we've got that is available to hand if you really want to play it again.
No, I mean, I'm content. My reaction has only changed because of you telling me or hinting that I might have overreacted in saying I don't want him here anymore. You know, it's just one of those people that even if you get to the point where you're absolutely backed in the corner, they never concede.
They never
and then
concede.
You
I
get to
agree.
the point where you're at that stage, and then they start lying, adding stuff to citations. At that point, it's like, no, you're a liar. You're not just debating us and not conceding. Now you're lying when you're on the ropes. No, I don't want you here. That was my attitude then. Nothing anybody said so far has changed my attitude. I don't know if. Feel free to pipe up about it in the chat.
I wasn't trying to change your attitude. I was just saying perhaps it might have been a little bit of an overreaction, given that he didn't actually change the transcript. He just justified his lie.
Well, he annotated it. I didn't say he changed it.
Yeah, okay. Just as long as you understand that he wasn't annotating the transcript, he was doubling down on his lie, on his reasons for his lie.
Yeah, that's what an annotation is. If you annotate something, you add notes to it. That's what.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he didn't misrepresent the facts, the words that were said. I just wanted to.
I mean, but if he did, I mean, that is. I'm literally lost for words. So you're saying that for it to be... Oh, forget it.
I'm saying that what Sean Hufford does is change the words that were said when he represents them. But Jimmy didn't do that. What Jimmy did was he kept the words that were said accurate, but then justified them with his lie in his annotations.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. And that's why you don't have annotations in a transcript. You know,
Correct.
You just quote.
Take the annotations out.
You just quote. You know, you have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end. If it's a conversation, you have a beginning to that conversation, an end to that conversation. It's all... None of it's necessary to have quotes
right now, Nathan. He's doing it right now. He says, Jose, I did not understand the initial question. Where were those words? Of course you didn't understand it. You were called out immediately. I said, no, it doesn't. Doesn't say that, or whatever it was I said. I mean, I was really clear. It did not say what you just read. So how can you argue now that you didn't understand the initial question? You're literally lying again, Jimmy. You're doubling down on your lies. That's the reason why you're not on the panel. And you're being scapegoated because none of the ballers ever admit any fault. They never back down, ever. And you are being scapegoated.
I don't know if I'd say he's being scapegoated. I mean, I was going to say this when you were talking about Sean. It's like, well, we're not talking about Sean. You know, I know what he's saying. He's not changing the transcript. So by comparison to Sean, but I'm not comparing him to anybody. It's just him and what he did, and my outrage that I felt when he did it. You know, and that hasn't really subsided in any way, shape, or form. If I'm ruthlessly honest. But maybe it is that I'm scapegoating him because it's so often that we get that kind of attitude. Not necessarily the lie that went along with it afterwards, but certainly the never conceding. But frankly, it's a debate. It's like, would you? Well, I would concede if I was wrong. So it's a stupid question. But you know, you can't really hold that against people in the same way as I am holding Jimmy's lies against him, which is a different story.
See, look, he's there saying again.
I would let Jimmy in to explain, let him explain himself to have the last word if maybe he's honest enough.
Look at what he's putting now. He says, "I do back down when I'm wrong, but I did not lie. I misunderstood the initial question when I did say that I said it was my addition. No, how can you misunderstand the initial question? The question was, where does it say that? How can you misunderstand that? You are literally lying again, Jimmy. You're deluded."
You got clarity as well, so you told him, no, in certain terms, what you have just read is not in that citation, or words to that effect. And his reaction to that was, what?
Yeah.
Dismay.
That's not a misunderstanding of what was said. That's oh shit, I've been caught out here.
Yeah, that was the biggest display of guilt ever. Because if you already know that you've made it clear with the intonation of your voice, then... it wouldn't be, what? What do you mean it's not in the citation, which is what that tone of voice said. It would be, well, I made that clear by changing my tone, because you'd understand the clarity that Anthony gave you, which was very clear. Why is it not in the citation? Not, oh, well, that's because I added a bit.
He's not saying that it's not a clear to understand question.
Yeah. Right to reply comes from the chat.
Because you're too stupid.
You know, you can be a keyboard warrior, so, you know, he's still getting to have his opinion. He can say it in the chat. It's broadcast. So, people can see what he's saying. It's not like he doesn't have any right to reply on this show. The cowards just stay in chat. And if it gets to the point where the cowards are only willing to debate us from the chat, so what? Still got a show.
Look at what he's saying now. I gave you the link in the side chat. How would I get away with it? You didn't get away with it. That's the point, Jimmy.
I barely read a citation, but if somebody reads a citation, please start with, this is a citation, and I quote, read the citation and close, or quote, Just make sure it's finished. Don't keep adding and spilling out like it's reading verbatim,
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He carried on that sentence that was not in the citation as though he was reading it to make it sound like it was in there and it was being read, and it wasn't. That's the deception. That's the dishonesty. That's the reason why you're not in, Jimmy.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. Wow, my kid's keen to get into the outro rather. And a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!